So, today we will discuss about the meaning and definition of specific heat capacity. So, it is as the name suggests, specific means it is related to some particular property of substances. So, how to define it? Before defining, let us think of a simple experiment about a piece of iron of equal surface area and a piece of wood placed under the sun. Naturally, the thickness of iron will be less, thickness of wood will be more, but mass must be same. So, when these two substances are placed under the sun for 1 hour and then they are made to touch, by the two hands of a person, then it is found that the temperature of iron is more than that of wood. So, why it is like that? Because the sun gives equal amount of heat on the upper surface of the iron and wood, but mass is same, but the rise in temperature is different. So, this shows that the nature of the material is also important for the rise of temperature by supplying same quantity of heat to both. So, this is one experience. So, and another experience one can have, they suppose a person wants to cook rice. A small amount of rice requires less heat to have the temperature 100 degrees centigrade. If a bigger amount of rice is to be cooked, then the amount of heat necessary is more. So, the suggestion is the amount of heat required, that is delta Q, is proportional to m, mass of the substance, when delta theta is kept constant. Delta theta means the rise in temperature. Rise in temperature in degree Celsius or degree Kelvin, because same thing is, because degree Celsius added to 273 makes degree Kelvin. So, the mass is important for the amount of heat required. Then suppose you want to raise the temperature to a greater extent while mass is kept constant. So, in that case also you need more amount of heat. Suppose the room temperature is 30 degrees centigrade and 100 degrees centigrade you want to raise. So, the delta theta is 70 degrees centigrade. So, 70 degrees centigrade is the delta theta. If you want to increase it to 200 degrees centigrade, so you need more amount of heat. So, these are the two factors which decide the amount of heat necessary, and if you combine these two, combining these two variations, comma, we have delta Q proportional to m into delta theta when both m and delta theta vary. That means, when mass is changed and also rise of temperature is there, then you have delta Q is proportional to m delta theta. So, which implies delta Q is equal to m s delta theta. So, this is a very important formula and it decides the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a given mass of substance. So, where S is a constant, called specific heat or specific heat capacity, or sometimes we say specific heat capacity, meaning is same for both the quantities. Then how to define S? So, from this one formula, S is equal to delta Q divided by m delta theta. So, suppose m is taken as 1, that means mass of the substance is taken as 1. So, if m is equal to 1 unit, if m is taken as 1 unit, comma, delta theta is equal to 1 unit, comma, then S is your delta Q. So, from this we can define S. So, what is the S? It is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of a substance through unit degree of rise of temperature. So, we can write thus, comma, specific heat is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of a substance through unit degree rise of temperature, through unit degree rise of temperature. So, then we can have units of S. So, first is CGS unit. You see from this expression that it will be calorie divided by mass is gram, then it is degree Celsius. So, in short we can write as cal gram inverse degree centigrade inverse. Then second is MKS unit. MKS unit will be kilocalorie, then kg, then degree Celsius. So, kilo means 1000, it is 1000 gram. So, it is same thing as in short you write K cal, then kg inverse degree centigrade inverse. That is same thing as calorie gram inverse degree centigrade inverse. Then third is your FPS unit is equal to BTU, British thermal unit. Then for mass it is pound, then degree Fahrenheit. So if you put the values like 252 calorie and pound is 453.6 gram, then for degree F it is delta theta. So the conversion will be 5 degree Celsius is equal to 9 degree Celsius. So 1 degree Fahrenheit will be 5 by 9 degree Celsius. So if you just calculate, it is same thing as calorie gram inverse degree Celsius inverse. So from this idea, what we come to the conclusion is that the numerical value of specific heat in all the systems of unit are the same. That is one conclusion. So from this idea we have numerical value of specific heat is the same in all systems of unit. All systems of unit. This is one thing. Then another thing is specific heat of water is equal to 1. Numerical value is 1 calorie gram inverse degree Celsius inverse. So this follows from the formula that delta Q is equal to ms delta theta, and there is definition of calorie. So calorie is the amount of heat which when supplied to 1 gram of water raises the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So that idea gives you the numerical value of this water is 1 calorie per gram inverse, like that. Then there is another quantity which we are going to define, that is called heat capacity. Heat capacity, or it is also called thermal capacity. It is denoted by S, big S. Specific it is small s, it is big S. Then how to define it? You see, suppose you take the entire body and you supply delta Q amount of heat, then the rise of temperature is delta theta. So it is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a body, through 1 degree Celsius. So, for specific heat it is 1 gram of the body, and for this one heat capacity, raise the temperature of a body through 1 degree, 1 degree through 1 degree, that is the idea. Maybe degree Fahrenheit according to FPS system, or will be degree Celsius, like that. So, naturally S will be equal to delta Q by delta theta. Also, if you write Kelvin for this instead of Celsius, it will be delta T. Capital T is Kelvin temperature, and it is now M small s. So, heat capacity is related to specific heat by this relation Ms, and this is also true because delta Q is equal to Ms delta theta, and the units of big S will be, units of this will be, CGS unit will be how much? It is calorie by degree Celsius, calorie by degree Celsius, that is calorie degree Celsius inverse. MKS unit will be kilocalorie, it is kilocalorie by degree Celsius, kilocalorie by degree Celsius, that is kilocalorie then degree Celsius, and for FPS unit BTU by degree Fahrenheit, that is BTU, British thermal unit, then degree F inverse. And here the numerical value will not be same because the masses are expressed by different units. So, they are not same, but specific heat capacity has the same value, clear. Then we come to CP. CP and CV will define. So, CP means molar specific heat at constant pressure, and CV will be molar specific heat at constant volume. You see, naturally molar means it is related to molecular weight expressed in grams. So, this at constant pressure and at constant volume, that refers to a gas, because you know that for solid the volume is almost constant, and for liquid volume is changed, but pressure is almost acting on it is same. But for gases there are three quantities: pressure, volume and temperature. So, when you want to raise the temperature of a given amount of gas through some degree rise of temperature, maybe 1 degree rise, then you have to mention the pressure. What is the condition? Either pressure or volume. So, therefore, we will define these things as definition of CP. It is the amount of heat, it is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of a gas through 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin. Nowadays we write also 1 K. Instead of degree K, they write 1 K. Through 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin at constant pressure. At constant pressure. Similarly, we can define Cv. It is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of a gas through 1 degree centigrade at constant volume. And there is a relation between Cp and Cv called Mayer's formula, according to the scientist Mayer, who is a lady scientist of America. So, Mayer's formula gives a relation between Cp and Cv, which can be derived from thermodynamics as Cp minus Cv is equal to R, and Cp by Cv is equal to a constant denoted by gamma. For all gases this is true. Cp by Cv is a constant and Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Then we come to a change of state. What is the meaning of change of state and latent heat? So, these two things we will discuss now. So, change of state then latent heat. So, suppose you think of a solid converted into a liquid. Inside the solid, the atoms or molecules are closely packed, whereas in the liquid state, the atoms or molecules are further apart. Say more than that, the separation is more than that of a solid. So, when you want to convert a solid into a liquid, you need some external heat, and the external heat will be utilized in vibrating the atoms or molecules so that they get separated, and at the melting temperature there is conversion of solid into liquid. So, that is one type of change of state. Another type of change of state is your liquid to gas or vapor. So, that is also you need more heat, because compared to the separation of atoms and molecules of a liquid, the atoms and molecules of a gas are far away from each other. They are almost free. So, you need more heat, and that takes place at a particular temperature called boiling point, which depends on many factors. Apart from the nature of the substance, it also depends on the pressure, external pressure applied on that. So, when solid gets converted into a liquid, we call the process as melting, and when liquid is converted to solid, we call it fusion, and accordingly the amount of heat will be latent heat of fusion. Latent heat of fusion denoted by LF. We will define those things. Then there is a liquid. Suppose that liquid is to be converted into a gas or vapor. In some cases, at a room temperature, they call, if they are gases, then it is called gas or it is called vapor, and it is called melting, it is called boiling, and it is called condensation, gas or vapor, and the corresponding latent heat will be latent heat of vaporization that is LV. So, how to define these quantities and why they are called latent heat? Latent means say hidden. Why they are, why that is a hidden heat? Because experience says that suppose you have a piece of ice and there is a, you put a thermometer it is a thermometer, and when ice is just melting, suppose it is melting ice, maybe due to sunlight or you supply some heat, it is being melted. So, it is a thermometer. So, if it is Celsius thermometer, it is shows 0 degree Celsius. 0 degree Celsius is shown by this thermometer, and the ice is going on melting and like that until all the becomes ice, all the ice becomes water, then the temperature thereafter will rise. So, if you are heating, suppose you are heating it by some external agency. So, it is heated yet no rise of temperature, is noticed till all the ice becomes water. All the ice becomes water at 0 degree Celsius. So, it is a very interesting thing because till all the ice becomes water, the temperature will not rise, and after becoming water, suppose you have a container here and water is there in that container, then if you supply more heat, it will rise, temperature will rise. So, that is why it is called hidden heat or say latent heat. Similar thing happens for the conversion of water into steam by heating it at the boiling temperature, which is 100 degree centigrade. So, they become entire liquid is engaged in converting. So, that is called the boiling temperature, and there is also latent heat of evaporation. So, from this we make an idea that some amount of heat is always required to make a change of state. Then naturally the amount of substance will also matter, because for small amount you need small amount of heat, and greater amount you need greater amount of heat. Therefore, we will define it, latent heat in such a way that there will be some definite relationship between amount of heat and latent heat. So, definition of LF, latent heat of fusion. So, the amount of heat the amount of heat required to convert unit mass of a solid into the corresponding liquid at melting temperature under standard atmospheric pressure with no rise of temperature is called latent heat of fusion. So we can give an example that 1 gram of ice at 0 degree centigrade requires 80 calorie to become 1 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius. So LF is equal to 80 calorie per gram. Naturally, suppose one supplies say, suppose there is 10 gram of ice, so you need 800 calorie. Yeah. So naturally we can write a formula for this, that is Q is equal to mLF. M is the mass of the substance. If M is 1, it is just LF. Q is equal to LF. And similarly we can define LV. How to define LV then? You see definition of LV, that is latent heat of vaporization. Just similar way we may not write also LV. The amount of heat required to convert unit mass of a, instead of solid, what you write? Instead of solid you write liquid. Into the corresponding gas, at melting temperature, that will be boiling temperature. Under standard atmospheric pressure with no rise of temperature is called latent heat of vaporization. Similar example can be 1 gram of water at 100 degree Celsius requires 536 calorie to become 1 gram of steam at same temperature 100 degree Celsius. So LV will be 536 calorie per gram. So, this formula will be now Q will be mLV. So, this is the latent heat. Then another thing that is mentioned in the syllabus is your calorimetry. So, calorimetry means measurement of calorie. Measurement of calorie means measurement of the amount of heat in a some reaction or say mixture. So, that is your calorimetry. So, we write calorimetry. Just like say geometry, trigonometry. So, it is calorimetry. That means it is a method to measure. It is a method to measure the amount of heat. So, one thing is your heat lost. Heat lost is equal to heat gained, because as you know, heat is a form of energy and it cannot be lost. It appears in another form. So, similarly, some substance gives heat when they are brought into contact, then the other substance gets the heat. So, we will illustrate it with the help of say two problems. We will make one problem. Number 1 is 10 gram of water at 80 degree centigrade is mixed with 20 gram of water, at 20 degree centigrade, kept in a calorimeter. It is a device to measure heat, calorimeter, kept in a calorimeter of mass 10 gram, specific heat 0.9, specific heat 0.9. Find the temperature of the mixture. Find the temperature of the mixture. So, to do that, we have to think who is giving heat and who is receiving heat. So, that has to be first decided. Naturally, the higher temperature body will give heat and the lower temperature body will receive it. So, if you make this type of diagram, 80 degree Celsius and that is 20 degree Celsius. So, naturally, heat is given. So, this theta is the mixture temperature. So, heat lost by warm water is 80 degree Celsius is equal to heat gained by the cold water plus heat gained by the calorimeter, heat gained by the calorimeter. So, heat lost by 1 watt will be, as you know, the formula delta Q is equal to ms delta theta. So, mass is 10, specific heat is 1 for water, and change of temperature is from 80 to theta, as you see from the diagram. Then heat gained by the cold water will be, the mass of cold water is 10 gram, its specific is 1, and there is change of temperature, theta is higher than 20. So, the change in temperature will be theta minus 20 plus heat gained by the calorimeter. Calorimeter mass is calorimeter of mass 10 gram, it is 20 gram, it is cold water is 20 gram and mass of calorimeter is 10. So, 10 into 0.9 its specific heat, and there is rise of temperature theta minus 20. So, naturally if you just simplify it, it becomes 80 minus theta, 10 you take common from both sides and cancel it. So, it becomes 2 theta minus 40 and plus it is 0.9 theta, then minus 18, implies you take theta to one side, it is 80, then plus 40, then plus 18. This theta go to this side, 3 theta, then 3.9 theta. So, theta will be 120, then 138 by 3.9. So, this you can write as 1380 by 39, you cancel by 3, 12, 300 को 18, 0. Then for 13 you write 3, 39, then 7, 5, 50, almost 4. So, it is mixture temperature is 35.4 degrees Celsius. So, this is one example where you can calculate the amount of heat given out by a substance and the amount of heat received by the substance. Clear? Then we come to problem number 2. So, problem number 2 is say 10 gram of ice. You see 10 gram of ice at minus 10 degree centigrade is mixed with 20 gram of water at 20 degree centigrade, kept in a calorimeter of mass 10 gram, suppose the specific heat is 0.9, find the temperature of the mixture. So, it looks like as if the problems are similar, but they are not exactly similar. You see there is a difference. So, here the higher temperature is the water and calorimeter. So, it is 20 degree Celsius and that is higher, and it is minus 10 degree Celsius, that is the smallest one. So, when this ice at minus 10 receives heat, it goes to 0 degree Celsius first, and at 0 degree Celsius there will be a phase change. There will be a phase change, and this will then they will rise. So, this from minus 10 to 0 it is ice state, and from 0 to theta it is water, and this is also water. It is water, and calorimeter is also there, calorimeter. So they will give heat together, and this ice will receive heat. So heat lost by warm water, you can say, is equal to heat gained by, so let us write like this: heat lost by warm water plus heat lost by calorimeter is equal to heat gained by ice to melt and to rise up to theta degree Celsius. So you see what to do. Heat lost by warm water, you have to take the ms delta theta formula, that is 20 gram of water. So 20, its specific heat is 1, and fall of temperature is 20 minus theta, plus about the calorimeter. Calorimeter mass is 10 gram, its specific heat is 0.9, then its fall of temperature is same thing, 20 minus theta, then is equal to heat gained by ice. It is m, that is mass of ice, that is 10 gram, then specific heat of ice is half. It is experimentally found that specific heat of ice is not 1 but half. Then the rise of temperature will be 0 minus of minus 10. Then about the phase change, you see 10 gram of ice will require 10 into 80 for the conversion from ice state to water state. Then there is a mass of water is 10, mass of water formed, then 1 is specific heat, and rise is theta minus 0. Then how much you get? You cancel 10 from all the terms, so that will be simplified. So it is 20 minus theta, then plus 0.9 into 20 is your 18 minus 0.9 theta. Then from this side you get 10 has gone away, so it is 5, then plus 80, then plus 10 theta. So how much we get now? 20 plus 18 is 38, so it is 38, then minus 85, so it is, and you take it to the other side, theta minus theta is 1.9 theta, goes to that side, then it is 11.9 theta. So this is found to be, theta is found to be minus 47 by 11.9, that is near about to say 3, near about minus 3 degree Celsius, which is absurd, which is absurd. Why it is absurd? Because any temperature that will be there from the mixture of two things will lie in between them. So it is going, say, down. It is going down. Of course, it is not. It has not exceeded. So we cannot write absurd. Why we write absurd? It is minus 10 is there. So, the temperature in the diagram it is found here, but actually it is coming somewhere here below 0 degree centigrade. So, theta is minus 3 centigrade. Suppose it from calculation you get minus 13, then we will write absurd, because 20 and minus 10 cannot have a temperature below minus 10. So, that is the argument. In that case, one has to think of another method to know the mixture temperature. So, that is not very say familiar question, but familiar question is like this: some amount is added to some amount and you get the mixture temperature, which must be physical in between these two things. So, that is how that is meant by calorimetry, and there are many varieties of problems found in books. One can go through that and calculate the amount of heat in these cases. Then another thing that has been taught in schools is about the heat transmission, transmission of heat. Transmission of heat takes place by three processes. One is called conduction, another is called convection, and there is radiation. So, we will just try to go through the conduction process, and we will take an example. Suppose there is a long rod of area of cross section A, and it is being heated at one end. So, we call it hot end and we call it cold end. Suppose hot end temperature is theta 1 degree centigrade, cold end is theta 2 degree centigrade. Suppose the rod is very long, the cold end will be room temperature. Then length is say L and area of cross section is A. So, actually when such a thing is heated, it is found that the temperature at different sections changes with time initially. So, that is because when some amount of heat is supplied to a particular section, say let us say this is a section, small section. So, whatever heat that enters to this part, it is utilized in three ways. So, that is called variable state. Variable state means temperature at a section, particular section, changes with time. That means, suppose now it is say 35, in the next moment it may be 40. So, why that takes place? Because here the heat reaching the section is used in three ways. So, number one is some amount is absorbed so that temperature will rise. Then some amount is radiated out through the sides. Then third is the rest amount is given to the next layer, next section or next layer you can say is given. So, in these three ways it is utilized. So, that is why due to the first point the temperature is found to rise with time. But if it is heated for a long time, so when the rod is heated for a long time, comma, this first point is absent. That means there will be no more absorption of heat. Only these two processes will take place. We call it steady state. We call it steady state. So, under steady state, the amount of heat flowing through the bar or rod is directly proportional to area of cross section when theta 1 minus theta 2 comma L and time are constants. Then proportional to theta 1 minus theta 2 when A, L, T are constants. Proportional to T, time of passing, when A, theta 1 minus theta 2 and L are kept constants. Inversely proportional to length. Are kept constants. So, if you combine all these four variations, so you get a formula Q is K A theta 1 minus theta 2 into T by L. So, where K is a constant, where K is equal to a constant called thermal conductivity, which varies from material to material. Thermal conductivity. So, this K you can define using A is equal to 1 centimeter square, L is equal to 1 centimeter, T is equal to 1 second, theta 1 is minus theta 2 is equal to 1 degree Celsius. You get K is equal to Q. So, in language you can define accordingly, and units are also found. Units of K can be found by this K is equal to QL by A theta 1 minus theta 2 into T. So, just like specific heat case, you can put calorie, centimeter, centimeter square, degree Celsius, second. So, you find CGS unit. For MKS unit you put kilocalorie, then meter, meter square, degree Celsius, second. So, accordingly you find the units of K. So, this K is a characteristic of material. So, that depends on the nature of the material. That is all.